no way we're doing this sober.
So first of all, a little side note, a toast to Michael Bay not making the Ninja Turtles movie.
All right. Yeah.
This is an edit.
I gotta say, I was anticipating this movie, trying not to get caught up in the hype. But you know, we had two really good movies, and I want to start with that. Okay, the first two movies, walking out of the theater was a good experience. Like you walk out and you're like, that is exactly what Batman was supposed to be. That was it.
Came out of The Dark Knight. Came out of the second one. Just like, damn, that was a good fucking movie.
I went into the second one thinking they're not going to be able to top the first one, and I was like, Heath Ledger, or whatever.
Yeah.
No, completely changed my mind, and I'm adverse to change. I don't like changing my mind, and it did it.
The feeling coming out of this one was very
It was a very similar feeling. We talked about this right out of the theater, actually. Very similar to coming out of episode 1.
It was episode 1-ish. Like, maybe I missed something. I mean, it was Star Wars, right? It was still Star Wars.
Yeah.
I need to see it again.
He did a lot to make the character his own from the very, and that's okay. Like, I don't want to knock that. I don't want to go all like Tom Bombadil wasn't in the movie.
Well,
and
it's okay.
Tolkien's vision was not seen in its true purest form. No,
it's okay to a certain extent, but Denny O'Neil. This is a quote from Denny O'Neil. You realize at some point when you're working in this medium, or you're drawing from this medium, that you're not. It's not yours to do with what you wish. Completely, you know what I mean? You're the custodians of folklore. That's what Denny O'Neil said.
Because if you allow complete and total interpretation, you end up with something like Batman and Robin. And I think everyone can agree that was the worst movie ever made.
Definitely the worst Batman movie.
It was because people like this character. There's something timeless about this character, and there's a few details that you really can't fuck with without losing it completely. And watching this, Nolan not only changed the character from what we know and love, what we grew up with, you know, from Frank Miller to Bruce Timm, the traits that define the character. He even contradicted his own franchise. So we got Batman, and Batman, the defining moment of his life. This is canon. His parents are killed. It shatters his childhood, and it's more than that. It's the early realization that the system is flawed, and there's nothing that can be done that can prevent this kind of tragedy. So he becomes this thing. He devotes his life to this thing.
Gotta make sure no 8-year-old boy ever loses his parents to violence again. That's his.
Yep.
The driving force in his life.
He goes away, and if you take year one, if you take Nolan's movie, he goes away, studies abroad, learns to fight, joins the League of Shadows, all that.
Years and years.
Years and years and years. His girlfriend dies then in the second one. She gets blowed up. Not really his girlfriend, but he's noticed a child. He likes her a lot.
Yeah.
And then in Dark Knight Rises, that's the defining moment. He retires. He stops everything. He drops it all. Sits back for 8 years. Builds an arc reactor. I'm sorry, that was Tony Stark.
Fission.
That's
Fusion?
Fission.
Neutron.
It's atomic.
Neutron.
It's pure energy. Here you have this character, and he's driven, but not anymore.
Nah.
Now he sat on his ass for 8 years. After being Batman for a total of a year. I don't want to be Batman anymore.
I'm too sad.
It's ridiculous.
It's contrary to the character, and it's not. Then it's not fucking Batman anymore. Christopher Nolan. I don't care if you think you own it.
It goes on. The greatest detective in all the world. I mean, there are roots down to noir and just the old style, hard-boiled detective. I mean, this guy right here could go toe-to-toe with Sherlock Holmes. Really.
He could. He's the world's greatest detective.
And in order to be a detective, yeah, also a ninja. If you read a Batman comic book, at some point he uses this thing. That's his head, and inside his head is his brain. That's how he figures stuff out.
In the movie, he's got Alfred doing all his fucking legwork
Yeah, but the problem is he doesn't do any figuring out. He doesn't think.
at all.
He just
He
does.
things.
That's not Batman. Let's talk about Batman boning Talia. Yeah.
Yeah, that's another thing. He's been so tore up in the 8 years that he spent in his little. I don't want to see the world. I don't want to be Batman anymore. I'm sad because my girlfriend died. Hey, you
Hey.
fuck.
Hey, lady that kind of annoyed me because you're a charity person. I got embarrassed at a place. Let's do it. And then let's flirt with Catwoman because that's obligatory. You have to have Catwoman kiss her every now and then.
Yeah.
Michael Caine. I love Michael Caine. I loved his Alfred. It was a little rough, a little cockney, a little unrefined.
Well, that's the way he
But
talks too.
I bought into it in the first and second movies. And he's like, Gotham needs you, Batman. It needs you, Batman. It needs you, Bruce.
You need to be a symbol. Batman's more than that. And now he's like,
Don't be Batman.
don't be Batman.
I can't see another Wayne.
I won't bury another Wayne. Like, you told him to do it.
And he's been sitting on his ass for 8 years. So, you think he'd be like, oh, get back into it. You're kind of wasting away here. No one likes you. Arc reactor.
That they didn't use the term arc, but whatever.
It's the same thing Tony Stark built.
Exactly.
It creates infinite energy.
Yeah.
But this one can be turned into a 4.6
Kiloton bomb.
nuclear weapon. How devastating.
Mm-hmm.
So we can't release this to the world. We don't want the world to have infinite energy because this thing could be used against us as a very small nuclear device. I mean, you do realize that an atomic power plant can be sabotaged to create widespread devastation already. It's something they came up with. It was like Land Monster.
Land monster.
It just fit too perfectly. Oh, and then we're going to take it out and it's going to degrade. And then it's going to go off like a bomb.
That is not what happens. When a nuclear reactor degrades, it does not explode.
Cops going underground. That was convenient. Well, all the cops, all of them. I kind of wanted Gary Oldman to, like in The Professional, just be like, everyone! And send all the cops underneath, conveniently, underground. And they didn't die, too. They didn't get caught in the explosion.
Oh, they were feeding them. Oh, that's true. Yeah,
And
they
were
collapsed
feeding
the
them.
tunnels in very convenient places. They
Also
knew exactly where
convenient.
they were.
That's awful nice of those mercenaries.
This it's just a sequence of events in this movie with no real thought behind it. They didn't. It's like they barely storyboarded it. They were just like, no, do this and then do that. What about that? No, shut up. Just this isn't. You're doing it wrong.
We're getting from point A to
This
point
is
B here. Don't bother me
Chris
with the details.
Nolan's motherfucking Batman.
Yeah.
Not yours. Anyway, no, but the cops. It's a really good example. Bane's plan that if all the cops, there's no way for him to have known that they were going to send every single cop down there. Every single cop in the city. Except for Jim Gordon and Robin.
Yeah. Don't get started on that.
So if he hadn't done that and they blew up the tunnels, there would still be police. And they would have police.
Why did Bane have a mask that
What keeps him from experiencing pain?
and
They
what-
beat him up in the face mouth real hard. And it hurt him. It hurt him hard.
So now he needs the
So
mask.
it hurt his pain, and he had pain. So they made a mask so he couldn't feel the pain. It just doesn't make sense.